All right, sweet. So we're live. We are. Let's see here. I'll make sure. Yeah, we're good. All right. So today is Wednesday. Welcome to another weekly training here in PowerPath. Welcome everybody who's on here, who's going to watch it later. We're live, so you'll be able to watch us at any point. And I'm stoked to be here because we missed last week. So Sean and I were in New Hampshire at a PowerPath meetup at the Aurora that Jeremy hosted us. That was killer. So it's good to see you in person, by the way.
Yeah.
And kick the crap and look at hotels. So
it was awesome. Great people there too, man. Like, oh my God, what a great turnout it was for an insanely freaking snowy ass day that took an extra 45 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
That came, it was awesome.
Yeah, we flew in from Atlanta to Boston because it was going to be, I calculated it because we brought the kids, it was going to be 38 or 4,800 more for us to fly directly to Manchester. And I was like, nah, that's stupid. So as more than the entire cost of the ticket anyways. Just the upgrade would have been like that much more. It was stupid. So we flew in, we rented a car, we drove 3 hours to the Aurora.
Oh yeah.
And there was a couple people that didn't come because of that. They're like, I don't want to drive 2 hours or whatever. And I was like, well, it's like 2.5 to 3. But you know, that's what we're doing, right? If you want to be there, you'll be there. If you don't, you don't. Do what?
We got dumped on like 6 to 8 inches of snow on the highways and everything. Like it wasn't plowed. It was crazy, man.
Yeah. Oh, the kids loved it.
How we rolled. Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah, we've never seen snow like that. You know?
Yeah.
It was. I actually was playing with my daughter and threw her in the snow and she got her face covered in snow. And we had some other friends that were standing out there with us and they were like, she got the full experience of snow. And I was like, yeah. Like she was trying to throw a shovel of snow on me, and I was like, "Look, you mess with Daddy, I don't know what to tell you. Like you're going in the snow." So, all right, Sean. Today, what do we have going on for the training today?
I'm pumped about this, man. Talking about the amenities that I don't want to spoil it here, but I'm working with a new client right now, and they were just talking about getting this next amenity and saw it for $40,000, and to just. I think that's what a lot of people think too, that, that's why I love what we do, because there's so many different hacks and ideas and, really like proven success on, hey, you don't have to do it like that. Do it like this, get the same results, save the money, and, create the amenities that people really want.
So, yeah, we talked about, it was a $40,000 sauna or something like that. $30,000 sauna. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go through, and some of these are pretty easy, right? Some of these go without saying, but if you're buying your first one, so I had a call with somebody yesterday and she is buying her very first, she's under contract for her very first STR. And she was like, I have all these ideas with design and I have all these ideas with this. And I was like, great. She's got a lot of fire. I know she'll be super successful. We're going to work with her along the way. But, when you have those kind of conversations and we put ourselves back into getting that first STR or the third STR or the fourth STR, first, second, third, fourth, whatever, or we're working with a client that they're going through the exact same thing, they're buying their first one. When we put ourselves back there, if you go 4 years ago, a hot tub, for instance, was everybody was like, oh, you got to have a hot tub. Now it's if you don't have a hot tub, it just doesn't rent. It depends on your market, right? If you're in South Florida, you're probably not going to have a hot tub. Yeah. But you better have a pool, or something.
Right.
In Blue Ridge, where we're at, or if you go anywhere in the mountains that's chilly or cold, you have to have a hot tub. There's no question. It's just automatic. But there's a lot of other things too. There's a lot of things outside and inside that we're going to go through. And again, some of these are going to be we're going to go through what happens during your check-in process. So are you operating at world class? Are you on Airbnb? Are you on Vrbo? Are you direct booking? Like, are you doing these things and you're standing out? So anything from, I have a sauna or pickleball court all the way to like what's sitting on the counter whenever you're getting there. Like, is it a gift basket, which might be a little outdated, or is it a wine bottle with a letter? Like, what are you doing to like really take it to the next level? And people come in, and even if there's a mess up on the clean or an amenity breaks or something, like they're still like, oh my God, the warmth when I walked in here is amazing. The hospitality is amazing. So how do you take the hospitality to the next level without even talking to them? Like in the presentation, how do you take that to the next level? So let's talk about like first things first. So I'm going to like share my screen in a minute and go through some things that we go through. Like if I have an owner that's like, I don't know what to add, I want to be completely different than everybody else in my market. Like, what do you do? How do you come up with an idea that's like not even in your awareness, right? Like how do you do that? We have to like go outside your market, and I'll show you some ways that I've done for years. And I've even told clients, like, just do this tonight. You guys like sit in the bed, you and the wife or you and the husband just sit in the bed, pull up Airbnb and do X, Y, and Z. Like do these things. And then let's talk tomorrow and you tell me what you figured out. In like 3 hours, they'll be like on Airbnb, just like scrolling. And it's really cool, but it's a great way to like build the awareness and just kind of like teach somebody without teaching somebody, if that makes sense. So do you got anything you want to say anything before we like dive in?
No, man, I'm pumped about talking about this. Like I said, I'm starting a new client. Literally everything that you're talking about right now. There's a pickleball court behind them. We're putting in we're gonna do a hot tub. He was looking at a sauna that was 40 grand. I'm like, we do not need to get the $40,000 sauna, man. We'll talk more about this stuff. So, let's go, man.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's start with knowing your avatar. That's a good one, right? So we're going to start with just the working avatar, the corporate travel, if you will. And then we're going to roll into vacation because that's what a lot of people do. Like a lot of people are like, they're here. They want to know more amenities. They want to have a better check-in process, better, whatever for the vacation market. Because the working market, there's really not a lot. Like you have a travel nurse comes in, or somebody's coming in for plumbing training or electrical training, or, a CEO that's coming in for a few days. There's some things that you want to do, obviously, but there's some amenities that you kind of have to have. Like, does that make sense? Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
So like knowing your avatar. So let's talk about like the working house, right? So we had like this 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Carrollton, Georgia, and it was like, this has been a couple of years ago, but we have this house. It's not in a vacation market, it's strictly work. So there's a couple of college, or there's a college around. There's a couple of huge corporations working around, and literally we had people come for like plumbing certifications for the college, and they're younger guys. We've had travel nurses, like I said. We've had VPs come through, and this is again, it's a nice, well designed house. But like, what do you have in there for these people? And this is, again, this kind of goes without saying, but if you're super new at this and you're looking at like your first 3, or you're trying to help a client buy their first one, for a travel working person, like you have to have a desk. You have to have a work area. Like what does that mean? So like you need a desk, you need a printer, a comfortable chair, not just a stool, right? You could have a power strip. Like those are like some simple things, like really, really simple, low hanging fruits. But desk, printers, chairs, some extra cords, maybe a couple of HDMI cords, maybe an extra screen. That would be one. But I got a new one for you. We were in Columbia, and we were in Columbia this last week after New Hampshire. We went to Columbia and met some partners down there, like the country, Columbia, not Columbia, Columbia.
I'm a little jealous.
I was corrected on the spelling because I didn't realize it wasn't spelled like Columbia, South Carolina, or Columbia PF T-shirts. It's Columbia with 2 L's. So anyways, I got a buddy that lives down there too, and he was like, we got to work on your spelling. So they're building out a podcast studio. So the podcast studio is a really cool thing. And it's like, I can't even tell you how much they've spent on this thing, but they're all like, It's European certified standard podcast equipment studio. So they got like the acoustic stuff with the lights all over the walls. Like it is sick. Like they're not done with it, but it is sick. And it's soundproof completely. Like the doors are soundproof, the room is soundproof, and they've got like $8,000 worth of like podcast equipment. Like I think it's the Rode podcast setup. So they got the sound, the mixer board, they got the headphones, they've got like 8 mics in there because they're like 2 rooms, or 6 mics in there, like 2 rooms. And it's just sick. And I started thinking like he's gonna rent them out. He's gonna rent both studios out by the hour. You think like that's crazy. By the hour, yeah. Like it's going for a studio like that is like it's really, really highly sought after. Especially if you're traveling and you're like, hey, look, let's say you're traveling to Nashville, right? And you're going to a conference. There's a lot of people who want to shoot a podcast when 2 or 3 people meet. We talked about doing it in New Hampshire.
Yep.
Well, where in the world are we going to do that? Right? Like you're going to sit in the bedroom and like talk, but if you already have that set up, the people that are traveling there, especially if they're like influencers or nomads or whatever, and they're, they've got a following or whatever, they might want to shoot some kind of podcaster. Like, and that would be like Nashville. So that you're kind of in between, like the vacation and the working. But a podcast studio, legit, not like throw some stuff on the wall and have a couple of microphones because everything would echo. Like in my office, everything pretty much echoes. So I don't have any like soundboard acoustic stuff on the wall, but this place was sick. So that's a big one that I've heard a lot of people go into as well. But then I actually put my eyes on it when I was in Colombia, and I was like, this is amazing. Like this is sick. But that was in Colombia. But I have started seeing them more and more as I can option, not to rent out per hour, but just to increase the booking demand, right? Yeah. So podcast studio, of course, the desk, the printers, the chairs. And then something real simple, be like blackout curtains. So if it is a traveling worker, traveling crew, they sleep during the day. Potentially they work night shift. Let's say they're doing a lot of work at the airport. Maybe they have to work night shift. So blackout curtains would be almost like a necessity. And you would think that's kind of a necessity at the hotels, but I have a lot of people who we don't have blackout curtains at the hotels. Every once in a while, I'll get somebody that says like, I have to sleep. I can't see any light. And we have light that kind of comes through on the side sometimes.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of a thing. Other than those 3, you got any to add to the working professional?
Yeah, cool that we are talking about that, because I was actually just looking at it. Another big, thing that people are doing is like the big mirror that kind of goes in the back of it with lights on it. So it can be used right on the desk, especially there, you know what I mean? Where it can be used as either makeup, really nice, you know what I mean? Mirror for makeup, and definitely for doing a podcast, or, you know what I mean? Going live or whatever. You got a nice light behind you right there, you know what I mean? And you can just go live right on it. I thought that was pretty cool. I actually saw Sean Rakovich, or I think that's his last name, posting that up, and it was like, that's interesting. Like $125, and it's another 2 amenities. It gives you 2 amenities because you've got the makeup mirror and also something for like either a podcast or doing something live or whatever, right? Or Zoom meetings, you know what I mean? Like you're right there. It was pretty cool. There's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah. So I would say a floor mirror is probably like the bigger floor mirrors. That most people think like, well, I need to put it in like a bachelorette place. Like put it everywhere. The floor mirrors are, that's super low hanging fruit. Those are amazing. Like, your woman is traveling pretty much with every group. Unless it's like a guy's getaway. Yeah. So that's what I would say. So for the working person, like those are low hanging fruits, but the podcast studio is amazing. Like I've never really thought about it until I visited it, and I was like, this is sick. So again, but you have to know your avatar. Like you have to know your avatar. Now, let's talk about vacationers. So if you're going, so like we're in the mountains, a lot of in the mountains, and then we picked up the 150 units, and 50 of them are in New York, and they're mainly like apartments. So we have a lot of like midterm stays and traveling workers. And then we have stuff in Florida. So you're talking about 2 totally different markets there, like certain things in one market and certain things in another. And so the Florida market's more of your vacation market for the properties that we have. And then I have the stuff in the mountains. And hot tubs 4 years ago were like, hey, you got to put a hot tub in. Like, it's going to increase your bookings and all this. Nowadays, if you don't have a hot tub, like, you just don't book. That's kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning.
Right.
And so when your hot tub breaks, which it'll leak and boards will go out. I've got a board that just went out in my personal cabin, and I forgot to order the board last week. And now we're having like guests, like, what's going on, and just totally slipped my mind to order the board. Well, if that's not working, especially if you have a family retreat getaway, there's a problem. And I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And it will not interfere with the money. I mean, it will, but it interferes with the guests like crazy. And now occasionally we'll have a guest saying, like, I only booked this place because it has a hot tub, which is complete bogus because every place has a hot tub now, period. So it's super, super common. But saunas are not. Saunas are becoming more like your hot tub amenity. And I want to talk about your sauna for a second because people think like, oh, it's a sauna. They think like super expensive. A sauna is cheaper than a hot tub.
I love
it. Can be. Not always, but can be. So
less maintenance too. Way less maintenance.
Yeah, I would have 100% agree. 100% agree. So you had, let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about hot tubs versus sauna. So it's not an either or thing. It's a hot tub always, possibly sauna place, right? Our hot tub for real numbers, I paid $7,000 for this big hot tub at one of our places. And it's a piece of crap. Like, the owner of the hot tub store screwed me. Like, it was a bad deal. Worked with them. They gave me a year warranty. I worked with them for like 18 months. I'm trying to get this thing replaced. And they just wouldn't do it. It went past the warranty, and they just wanted to keep fixing it.
Oh, yeah.
Crap. Well, the board just went out. Like, literally, like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, went out. And so I think that's the last piece of the puzzle that we have to replace. The hot tub guy wants us to replace the whole thing. I'm like, no, I'm not paying another $7,000 for another hot tub 3 years later. Like, it's just not happening. So we have the hot tub, and it's crazy. Now it's $7,000. But a sauna, you can get like a barrel sauna for a few $4,000. You experienced the same thing I did with one of my clients about a super expensive sauna. So let's talk about that for a second. Yeah. How much is this sauna that your client asked you about?
$40,000. He said that it was $40,000. I didn't get all the details on it. We just met up, which we decided, we definitely want to take this place. It's beautiful. But $40,000, I was like, we can do something better than that. Let me do some checking around. We don't need to do $40,000 because he was like, I can't do that. Like, I don't blame you.
Right.
$40,000.
Yeah. So there's these saunas that are glass on every side, and they sit like 8 people.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. But for 40 G's, I am not buying a sauna like that. Now, if I'm in, let me back up. If I'm in Alaska and I have a place to have wolves come up to me, I might do that. Yeah. Right? Like, that's the thing that puts you outside.
It's kind of badass.
Like, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But still, for 40 G's, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just crazy.
No way.
If you have a view, you could do like a barrel sauna, which is kind of a lower end sauna, but it's still a sauna. And right now, you can buy it for, I've seen them for $3,500 on Amazon, like legitimately, like on Amazon. They come in, you have somebody put them together. That's it. But they're a barrel sauna, and they have a view. Like, the door has a view. So just point the door straight through the view. Like, it's kind of, it kind of goes without saying. But like the Aurora where we were at New Hampshire, that sauna, you can find one like that style. It's like, it's a barrel sauna. It's round, right? You sit in it. You kind of like duck your head when you go in, and it's completely round. And it looks like a barrel on its side. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google barrel sauna. But those are like relatively inexpensive. I can buy 2 for the price that I pay for my hot tub. So that'll sit like 2, 3, 4 people, depending on the size. Now, you got to remember, like, if you sleep 16 people, you don't need a sauna for 16 people.
Right.
You need a sauna for like 4 or 6. Like, realistically, maybe 2 sets of parents or 2 people. Like, you think like the two women of the couple or the two guys of the couple or whatever.
Go in
Like,
there. Yeah.
You don't need 10 people for a
Oh,
sauna. Do what?
barrel saunas out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, still better than buying a 30G. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, damn, I'd way rather do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not an either or hot take, because I still get this question from clients that are buying up in Blue Ridge, and they're like, hey, should I put in a hot tub or a sauna? I'm like, if you're going to rent, you better have a hot tub. Like, there's no question. If you want to go above, then you go sauna. And he's like, oh, okay. I had a client very similar to you reach out. She was going to do a swim spa, which is like it's like a mini pool. And it's, you could turn the current on and you can literally swim in the hot tub. And it's the current, it's like Michael Phelps thing. You know, he branded that like swim spa or whatever. And with that was like 30 grand. And she was like, it's either that or a sauna. And I was like, send me the sauna. And it was like the glass. I was like, look, it's a beautiful sauna. Like, I'm not downplaying that. But there is no return on your investment at 30 or 40 grand of a sauna. Like, there's just not. Like, in my opinion, in this market, it doesn't make any sense. So I said, buy the swim spa and buy a barrel sauna for 4 grand. She was like, huh. Okay. Because what she did is she just Googled sauna for sale or whatever. Sauna manufacturers. And they get super custom, like super, super nice. But you just don't need that. Not to rent, like, and it's not going to get used every time. Like, it might get used 1 out of 5 stays, to be honest. So why would you spend 30 G's on that? So I could go all day on the sauna thing. Like, I've seen a bunch of different ones. But the ones that are nice, they get them in, they might paint them. Some of them I think look great the way they come in. Put some stuff on the inside, some of your greenery. Put them on the inside, the plastic greenery. Put some stuff on the outside. Deck it out. Put your robes outside. Put your slippers out there, and move on.
Yeah,
that's it. Now what about
do what? Does it increase your ADR to have a sauna?
It could, depending on, I guess, your setup. But just to have one,
it's like $100, isn't it?
A night?
Yeah.
I actually don't know the answer to that. Like, I would increase it if you started booking like crazy, but I wouldn't just immediately post it for like change it $100 a night base rate. But you would be booked way more, which would cause you to increase your ADR.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, let's see. Pools versus hot tubs. Now, I've looked at a lot of stuff in Myrtle Beach. And there's a lot of places that do really well. They have both, but they're both like concrete. Like, it's a built-in hot tub next to the pool.
Right.
That's insane.
Makes sense.
That's awesome. But you have to have the heated pool. You have to have the hot tub. Like, you have to have both. Or you're going to end up closing the pool. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have this it's going to suck. Now, I think to add a heater in could be like $2 grand, $3 grand, something like that. If that's what it takes, then do it. Right now, pool versus hot tub for us in our market in the mountains, I'm starting to see a lot more pools, which I didn't think I would ever see, just because it gets cold for so long. But they are going to heated, and that is more of a what I have found in our market, that like a lot of our market comes from Gatlinburg. So the things that are going on in Gatlinburg are starting to trend down to Blue Ridge. And I'm going to get into this a little bit, how to find like new things, like new amenities and new ways to do things and new ideas. And the pool, in my opinion, has come from Blue Ridge. Like, there used to be no pools, like zero. And now they're starting to see like a lot more pools. So if you're going to be in a market that doesn't have pools and you think like, hey, it's justifiable, put the pool in. Now, you don't have to put the 400-gallon pool or $40,000 pool with the traditional rounded edges and the diving board. What I would tell you is, and I'm going to show you this, go on Airbnb, look at pools, and look at all the pretty freaking cool pools, and they're small. Like, I've got a client that wanted to put in a pool near, you probably don't know where it's at, but it's near another property that we have in this huge neighborhood. And he was like, hey, I'm building at the top of the mountain. I want to put a pool in. I don't have the room. Like, I can't go that far. And I was like, look, just put in like a 6-person pool. They're all like modern, real crisp edge, around. There's no diving board. It's just a pool. You can have fun. You can put pool toys out there and all that. You don't have to have this huge 9-foot deep pool. You don't have to have that. So, okay. My son came home today early because he was threw up at school. So, don't mind that. And he's walking around with rubber bands on his ears, just hanging. I don't know why, but he is. So, you got your pool versus your hot tub. Like, if you have both, hold on one second.
Got to take care of little man.
That's it, dude. That's it. Sorry about that. All right, so look, that's the joys of being home, working from home, not having a W-2. Okay, so pools versus hot tubs. Like, you can minimize the size of the pool. You don't have to have a massive pool. Hot tub, there's no question. Again, put the pool in. Tony, actually, he got on the underwriting call earlier. They just launched a freaking sweet house in Florida. And they have, what's the next one on the list? Pickleball. They have a pickleball court. They have a sauna. They have a cold plunge. They have a hot tub. They have, I believe they have an outdoor kitchen. And it is absolutely beautiful. I was working with him for like a year and a half on this project. Absolutely beautiful. I told him, if you guys execute on this, you will crush it, period. End of story. And they have had some heartache through this thing, and they just launched it, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I wish I could find a picture of it real quick and just put it on.
Yeah, I wish you could too. That's awesome, man.
So
congrats to them.
It is insane. So, all right, pickleball courts, that's something that's like really coming out. Pickleball's gotten really, really hot. That's not something I have ever seen until like this year or in mid of last year. We ventured into a market, into a neighborhood where all of them have pickleball courts, and they're all brand new builds, and they all have pools, which is insane. And when we're talking about doing a pickleball court, I think we got quoted like 15 grand, maybe 20, to clear it, put the wall up, put the pad out, and do that. That, and kind of along with like close to the same price. Putt-putt is a little bit cheaper, but you can clear for putt-putt, put the grass out, put the sod out. I mean, not the sod, put the turf out, have your obstacles in there, your flags and everything like that. Like, you have your rough on the outside and then you have your green on the end. Those kind of go in line with each other. Putt-putt is not something I see a lot until you go to a certain market, and then you start to see them like in the corner, maybe a 3-hole putt-putt course. But the pickleball courts have become like pretty crazy, and a lot of people are like, the population is growing massively around pickleball, and people, like, I've got a lot of friends that don't really travel to Blue Ridge or anything like that, and they're like, look, if you put a pickleball court at this cabin, I swear to God I will book it. And I do not come out here. Like, you just don't have a lot, like, nationally, you just don't have a lot of people doing the pickleball courts. So that's something to really kind of play with. Don't find just like Joe Smo to do it. Like, find somebody that can actually do it, that can travel there, clear it, and get it done. Right. Because you don't want one that's like wavy and, and it looks like crap, and then have to come back and spray it in a year or anything like that. Like, you don't want that. Find somebody who actually does that. Any other big ones? Do what?
What space do you need for a pickleball court?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
That is some research right there that I have not fully dove into. I can pull it up, actually. I can tell you right now, because I will answer that question.
I mean, I know you're like, yeah, like I said, this new client, they've got a pickleball court. There's tennis ball courts behind them, which is nice. But pickleball, I was like, I think that'd be a great thing up here. Mm-hmm. It's really hot in Florida and those areas. Like, I think it was set up that it was pickleball was like, okay, you can't play tennis anymore. You're too old. Here, play pickleball. And then it became like, no, this is actually more fun. Like, and then, there's leagues of pickleball for, people that are 30s, 40s, whatever, man.
Yep.
It's really cool.
So pickleball dimensions, the court itself is 44 foot long and 20 foot wide.
Wow.
That's 44 by 20. That's your court. And so you got to think, like, you probably need at least 5 foot on each side. to have a buffer.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're going to put a retaining wall up, I would say if you're going to put a retaining wall up, I'd probably say maybe like 15 feet, just in case something happened.
Yep.
10 to 15 feet. But I would say like have a buffer of 5 foot on both sides, on every side. Now, somebody that does this professionally will tell you. They'll tell you exactly how long to make it and how much room you need on every side. So that's why I say go to a professional that has been doing that for a long time. So that's the pickleball court. Any other big ones I'm missing on the outside? Because I want to talk about what to do on the inside.
I can't think of anything on the outside.
Cold plunge would be one. You do cold plunges. That's becoming bigger. I want to get a cold plunge for my house. So if I found an Airbnb or whatever STR with a cold plunge, I would probably rent it, and I would probably use it. So that's a new one.
I've not got one of those yet, but I definitely have heard a lot about it. Obviously, it's getting more and more popular as far as health is concerned, and I think that's why saunas also are, getting bigger because people, the saunas are healthy for you, man. I mean, people want that.
So let's talk about the inside for a second. So coffee makers, everybody has to have a coffee maker. However, I have seen $1 million cabins with a Mr. Coffee thermal coffee pot. I have one of those. It's a 25-year-old coffee maker. I have seen that in $1 million cabins. So if you're going to which you better put a coffee bar in every single rental. I don't care if it's a working crew or if it's vacation. When it comes to coffee, espresso machine, French press, every way you can make coffee, put it in there. If it's $1 million listing, put it all in there. K-Cups, in my opinion, are almost like becoming a thing of the past. I mean, they're still huge, right? Like we all use K-Cups. But as it rolls out for these newer coffee makers, you have like the multi-unit coffee makers. Get one that grinds beans. Provide the beans.
Oh, yeah.
Get one that, I've got a $850 coffee maker upstairs that grinds the beans. I didn't buy it. My realtor gave it to me. She's amazing. Shout out to her. But I got it. It grinds beans. It does espresso. It does lattes, cappuccinos, all that stuff. And they're awesome. You put them in an STR, and you might have to put a video or a QR code to show how to use it.
Right.
But when you have one that somebody knows what they're looking at, they're going to want to come to Nespresso and do the pods, which the pods can get expensive, I know. But when you have a listing that does $600 or $700 a night, or $1,000 a night, or you're up in Arizona's doing $2,000 a night, like Scottsdale's, they have stuff like that. So,
yeah, of course.
If you're doing that, spend the extra money on the coffee. Have every way to make. Put your big pot drip coffee under the counter. It's an ugly thing, right? Unless you go with the Halle Berry brand, which is amazing. You go with something like that, that's a pot. Put that under the counter. Put your French press, your press machine, your grinder, all of that stuff. Provide it. Nespresso, cappuccinos, all that kind of stuff. Go all out on that. And there's another thing with coffee. There's also we've talked about doing this is an ice cream bar or milkshake bar. So this is next level stuff, right? This is not something that you are standard. So coffee is standard. If you don't have coffee in your house, you have a problem. Then you level up your coffee game, right? Because I'm always looking at do they have coffee? I'm zooming in. What's their coffee machine look like?
Yeah.
The next thing we do one of these two things. One is a waffle bar. We do a waffle bar. And then the waffle bar is a $40 waffle maker. You get all the syrups. We do individually packaged syrups now because the big bottles of syrups are nasty and they're a pain to keep up with. We do individually wrapped syrups. And the bags are it's powder, like pancake mix. Pour it in a big bowl and you mix it up with water and you can make pancakes or waffles. And we offer, it's like offering breakfast. So we mark breakfast off on the listing, which is awesome. And the kids love it. All the kids love it. And we order them by the box. We started with Betty Crocker mix, and then we found them online for super, super cheap. And we ship them to the house and it works great. So that's one. Milkshake. Let's talk about a milkshake bar for a second. Have you ever seen one of these?
No.
Okay. So if you're going to do a milkshake bar, and again, this is inside, this is This is like a wow factor on like how to wow your guests. Milkshake bar, you can buy them. They're relatively expensive, right? You can spend $1,000 on all of it. You can do the 3 milkshake mixers. It's like a stand with 3 milkshake mixers, and they come with the metal cups, and it comes with the blenders that come down. You go there. You get that. Then you get the Ninja ice cream maker, right? Because if you're gonna make milkshakes, you have to have ice cream.
Yep.
You can't make ice. You can't just pick up ice cream if you're 30 minutes in the middle of nowhere, and you get there and then you have to leave again. So you can make ice cream out of powder and ice in this Ninja. Ninja makes an ice cream maker, and it's really freaking cool. But they're like $350 if you do the ice cream maker. So the $350 for the ice cream maker. These stands are like $200. Now you could go like super expensive on the stands. You can get like crazy with the stands. You can spend $500 on the mixers themselves. So you have those 2, and then you have a station with all like mason jars with like the spiral straws, the marshmallows, the chocolate chips, M&Ms. Like you can have all of that set up. That way, when they come in, spoons, all that stuff. When they come in, and whipped cream, when they come in, they can make them, and then they can whip cream them and all. Like amazing. I have a client that was like this close to pulling the trigger on all of it. It was. Yeah. I've seen them, but I haven't had a client that will pull the trigger on it yet. Maybe we'll do one in our next STR or something like that. The next one that we purchase. So that's something that's like wow factor. I heard it about a year ago. I've only seen it done like maybe twice. I've wanted to do it. I've tried to talk clients into doing it. I just haven't been able to do anybody pull the trigger. So that is really cool. In my opinion, that is a wow factor. Expectation, coffee. Yep. Wow factor, Nespresso. Like if you think wow factor, you think Nespresso.
Yep.
Let's see.
What about
the kids? Do what?
Wine.
Why?
Wine.
Great topic. That's actually on my list for a little bit farther down in the check-in process, but we can go ahead and hit
it. We can wait till then. That's fine. Okay. I'm curious about it because I got a few places that I know would be great with that.
Yeah.
But how do you get it there? Like, do you have, you know what I mean? That's what I wanted to talk about more too.
Yep. I stayed at a place that did it very well. And I'll tell you, like, we can go back and forth on that. Because I stayed at a place, it was like a wine swap place. And I thought it was freaking cool. But there's some things that, like, people are like, well, what about age? And I was the same way. It's like, what about age? What if you have, like, 18-year-olds that are with the family and now they're drinking wine and, like, or they're 16 or they're 12 or whatever? Like, what happens then? Now, I'll tell you how to handle that in a second. Before we get to the wine, what about playgrounds? For the kids.
Yeah. And again, how much room do you need? Do you set up a room? Is it outside? Like, depending on where you're at, I would imagine.
So there's 2 ways to handle it. You don't go with the metal frame, 2 swings and a slide. Don't do that. That's like the most piss poor way to try to put a playground out there. Don't do that. Go with some kind of pirate ship, big playground you can get from like Costco or Sam's or Home Depot and pay somebody to put it together. And then, surround it with some kind of brick outlay and fill it with mulch. That'll help with any falls, but it also looks great. We're in the middle of doing that at my house, to be honest. Bought a playground from Costco. Cool freaking playground. It's like 3 stories on a tower and got all these different things around. It's really freaking cool. So now we're like surrounding it right now and putting some mulch in it. And it's cool. It's a really, really nice thing. It's a really nice playground. So that's one of the 2, in my opinion, is one of the best.
Yep.
The second one is having like a playroom and having like a rock wall, like an OCR course, like an obstacle course in a big room, like a big playroom for kids. I've seen that, and I'll show you that on the Airbnb thing that I like to look at. Yeah. I've seen that more times than not. So like a playroom, like an actual playroom. And like I've seen the rock walls. You could do a rock wall like invertedly and then have like a mattress bed on the bottom. So they can rock wall it. And if they fall on the mattress. So it's completely safe. I've seen that. Those are cool.
Yeah, it is.
Those were cool. So, all right, let me pull up Airbnb, and while I'm pulling up Airbnb, let's talk about some check-in stuff. So, the check-in wine. How are you doing it now? How do you want to do it? What do you think is the best way to do it? I'll tell you what I've seen that works, and then we can go back and forth.
Okay. I mean, as far as the way that I was seeing it, it's we're gonna bring our, have our housekeeper pick it up, our cleaner, you know what I mean, to bring it over there, and then they're now responsible for making sure that it's there when they, clean again. Which I don't love that. That's already been missed, and then we just didn't really talk about it. Now I need to figure out a better way to do it because I definitely have a few places that I want to implement that.
So I've tried. Let me tell you something I've tried that didn't work. Hostco. Hostco is like a virtual store. So somebody comes in, they can have a link, you can have a QR code, whatever, that takes you to this like shopping store, and they can say, "Hey, I need to buy a toothbrush or some toothpaste," or "Hey, I want to buy a late checkout or a bottle of wine," or whatever. So we did this for wine, and we had a full refrigerator, and it had a lock on it, and there was a bunch of bottles of wine in there, and they were like high-end bottles of wine. And this place, like, he wanted to kind of take it, the client wanted to take it to the next level. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm willing to try everything, anything that you want to try. I'll tell you if it's a bad idea, but like, if it's a new thing, let's try it. So we tried the wine. Nobody for a year purchased wine. Nobody. But at the end of the year, we had somebody break in and take all the wine out of the cooler. Like, they cut the lock. And I was like, really? Like, we haven't sold a bottle of wine in a year. And then you want to cut the lock. Someone wants to cut the lock off on it and take all the wine. Like, it was just crazy. So we said, okay, the selling the wine doesn't work. But we stayed at this place. I forgot what it was. Something it was a super dog friendly place in Boone, North Carolina, and like Dog Mountain or something like that is the name of this place.
Dog Mountain. And
they did a wine swap, but they tell you before you get there. They say, look, and there's a picture, and they say, look. We have a cool activity that we love to present to guests, and guests love to take a part of it. It's called wine swapping. And so there's like a rack, like a wine rack, like a metal rack with like 10 bottles of wine. And it's like you pull a wine and you leave a wine. So you can pull a bottle of wine and try it and drink it. And if you like it, then go get another bottle for somebody else to try. Or if you found a bottle of wine that you really liked, buy two, one to leave there to take a new bottle of wine. And you're just like, it's just a random pull. And then when you get done, put it back. Like, it's just a respectful thing. Like, you don't have to pay for them. You just replace it with another bottle. The people that take place in that are, people who obviously like wine, or they like a certain kind of wine so much they want to let somebody else try it. It's just a friendly thing.
Yeah.
But there's a message that comes out, because my first thing was like, what about kids? Like, my kids aren't old enough to really know what that stuff is. And they can't reach it, right? It's kind of high up. And so I said, okay, well, like, what about kids? Well, there comes another message. If you don't feel comfortable about the wine being present, please let us know and we will lock it away. And it would say, like, examples of not feeling, not wanting to show it would be like kids, a super young family, or young adult, young teenager, something like that.
Right.
Maybe somebody in your family is struggling, with alcohol or recovering, alcoholic, something like that. You just don't want it in the space. Just let us know. We'll pull it out. And I was like, man, that's good. Like, that's, your parents are booking, the wine's there. It's not like you're going to have 21-year-olds come in there and just plaster themselves and drink all the wine. Because if you've ever had a wine hangover, I don't know what to tell you. But that's not good. So, let's see here. I love the wine thing. I thought it was awesome. And I think that's a great way to like demonstrate something new and also give you like that little bit of wow factor. So again, if somebody comes in and they're like, I found something under the couch, but everything else in the house is above par, then you don't have to worry about them finding something under the couch, right? They're like, hey, sorry, cleaner missed it, whatever. So going above and beyond on the amenities like this is it's not just to like make more money or to book better, but we can also make the guest experience just amazing.
Yeah.
Like you're almost like overcompensating for something that might go wrong. You know, not like that's why you're doing it, but it helps with that whole process. So now let's see. I've got the list here, but let's see.
I was kind of thinking about like just as far as especially these couple. Well, this four places I got in mind that I want to put them on, and literally just having a bottle of wine. You know what I mean? Waiting for them there, just kind of in a spot where you take a picture, show them that it's there, and just one bottle of wine. You know what I mean? Like if you want to drink more wine, go ahead. I'm not gonna sit here and provide that for you, but just one bottle and experience. Please, it's complimentary. We're not charging you for it. And then they bring another one. That's kind of what I had in mind. I like the swap thing that you just said. I feel like that even would bring people that would be interested in that, have seen it. You know what I mean? They want to book it. I think that's a cool thing.
Yep. We stayed in Asheville over Christmas break, or like between Christmas and New Year's.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. And they had a nice bottle of wine I think it was from the Biltmore, because the Biltmore is a big reason to go to Asheville. With it was like a bottle of wine with a letter. And the letter was like, welcome to whatever the name of this place was. Please take this bottle of wine as complimentary or whatever. Not everybody's going to take the wine. Not everybody likes drinking wine. Right. But it's sitting there, so it's just a nice gift. And it's sitting on the kitchen island when you walk in, and sitting there with a letter, personal letter. Thank you for choosing us as complimentary. Like, we want you to take this wine. Please enjoy it. There's, this is full complimentary. You don't owe us anything, kind of thing. And it's just a nice gesture. So, like, a lot of people are like, what about gift baskets? And I helped a lady out in Winnebago, Alabama, and she was like, I want to do a gift basket. And I was like, okay, that's not bad. Like, they're kind of tacky now, in my opinion, a gift basket. Now you can have a s'mores basket or something like that, but I have a gift basket. She had like multiple types of candy bars and like popcorn and drinks and all this stuff in this gift basket. And the gift basket cost her like $15 or $20 every time to put it out. And it was just like candy. And I was like, this isn't what I would recommend. Like, I would recommend, if you're going to do a gift basket, something more, a little bit more special, like wine, but it doesn't have to be in a basket. It can just be like sitting there. It can just be like a welcome gift. Like, hey, we appreciate you. It could be robes. I mean, not a robe. It could be a pack of slippers. It could be a notepad and a pen that's branded the same as your cabin or your house. Like, it could be something like that. It doesn't have to be candy and popcorn and drinks. Like, it doesn't have to be that. But I would say don't do that. Don't do a gift basket if that's what you're thinking. Do something that means a little bit more, that they're going to take home. They're going to say, this is amazing. I appreciate it. We'll be back. That kind of thing. Now,
something to like remember the place, like souvenir or something like that. You know what I mean? Might be kind of cool. Is what I was thinking of. Like a mug that says, the area or whatever that is. They're coming up there for skiing, the mountain name. You know what I mean, or whatever. Just like one. Here you go. Just thinking of you.
So we got about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I want to go through this really quickly. So, because I do want to talk about a little bit, like we talked about the gift baskets versus wine. There's some stuff that can kind of wow you in the check-in. It's not really an amenity. It's just something to help you have expectation. You're going to get an email and a confirmation. You're going to have an email to like how to check in. There's really nothing else after that. So like to wow guests, we'll talk about that in a second. But if you're in the market for like designing a new STR, you're buying your first STR, or you want to like do a refresh, because refreshes are huge. You've been renting for a few years. The bookings are starting to kind of come down because what you put out 3 or 4 years ago was great. And now people are exceeding you. So it's time for a refresh. Like, it happens. So if you're like, I don't know what to add, this is what we do. So we're in Blue Ridge, and you start in Blue Ridge and then you work out into like Gatlinburg. So if you're in a market that, I don't want to say is a sub-market, but is like similar to another market that's way bigger, any kind of like mountain market out here on the East Coast, you want to look at something and you just want to get ideas that maybe the ideas aren't in your market. Maybe they're in another market. Go to that market and just open it up, open your calendar up. I mean, your map up. You're not trying to hone in certain anywhere. But I'm still like in the Blue Ridge area right here. And if you go right here to the play section, you can do this on the app too. But if you just go to the play section, and you're looking at like just amenities in general. Like maybe you're building out a game room. You're like, I don't know what to add to it again. I did this and got the idea for skee ball. And then I did this and got the idea for pinball, which was cool. Like at the time, like nobody had skee ball and nobody had pinball. Everybody has a freaking pool table and that's it. Nowadays, a pool table it's standard. Like if you can't put a pool table in there, don't put anything in there. So, and just go through these and find the game rooms. Now, this is a lot of AI, right? Like Airbnb is using AI to say, you know, amazing pools. It's pulling all of your pictures for pools. So just remember that as you go through. Like you may have to search through some pictures, but you've got like this isn't a turf, but this is like the checkered outdoor material basketball court. Putt, big checkers. That's cool. But if you like look around for the game room, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, there we go. So we've got like a 4-person arcade game, Mario Kart. Got some games hanging on the walls. We had the pool table on here. I don't see anything. And of course, you've got like the putt stuff. So if you just kind of scroll through, which I don't see anything on that one, you got foosball, you've got shuffleboard. Shuffleboard, in my opinion, has kind of run its course. That's not something you really say like, oh my God, it's got a shuffleboard. I'm going to like pick this, you know. Here's your games.
Say it's run its course. That means that you don't even need it. It doesn't even matter.
It's kind of like, in my opinion, it's like just like a little addition. And they are super expensive. Like they are like $700 to $1,000.
I was going to say 5 to 7. And yeah, obviously.
Now you could go $3,000 on a shuffleboard. I've seen them, but like I wouldn't do that. I've got a client that wanted to shop for pretty cheap, and he found and ping pong's another one. Ping pong's fun. Everybody should have a ping pong table, and they fold up so you can just like slide in the corner if you need to.
Yeah.
But he found a $3,000 or $4,000 shuffleboard for like $700 on Facebook, and he went and picked him up. Now I like to do this for to get ideas for games like this, right? Like you come through, there's like Pac-Man, you'll find like Atari, you'll see some others. Because if you look at these games on Amazon, the games on Amazon are they're all the same price, but there's 100,000 of them. So if you look, okay, here you go. Here's a theater style place to sit. This is a nice area. That would give you an idea. Like you don't have a room for a theater room, but what if you could do it outside?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Especially if it's a nice fall evening. I've seen this place before, and this place, they did really well on this place. But you kind of get the idea. Like here's your little playground, because this is the play section. Now, if you don't find what you're looking for, there's air hockey, some more games. If you don't find what you're looking for, then go to a bigger market. So I looked at Gatlinburg earlier. It's 20,000 rentals in Gatlinburg.
Jeez.
I looked right here. So this is Gatlinburg. I just pulled up AirDNA. So if you are not, you can't see it. Hold on. Let me reshare my screen. Share screen. Let's see window. There we go. Perfect. So this is Gatlinburg, and this is 19,300 rentals in Gatlinburg. That's a big market. So if you go down to the amenities, do what?
That's like all of Vermont.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this used to be really helpful, this amenity section on AirDNA. So if you're familiar with AirDNA, you could do this, and it would give you some good insights for, like air conditioning or whatever. Like this is super, super old to like go here. But if you're curious on how many in your market has a pool or a hot tub, then you would still use this.
Yeah.
So hot tub, 79% of all listings out of 20,000 listings has a hot tub. So you better have a freaking hot tub. Like if the majority of the population has one, that should be no question. And then pool. So more and more people are getting pools in Gatlinburg, which is awesome. That's something we were talking about earlier. Cable TV, you will see this actually drop with Netflix and, all the streaming services, Paramount, Disney, all that stuff. You're going to see this just continually drop. This will eventually go to zero. Like it will go to zero at some point. This
Just
actual
have
amenity,
Wi-Fi TV, right? I mean, use your own
right,
account for your Netflix and all that kind of stuff. There you
right.
go.
And it's an expense that a lot of us don't want anymore.
Yeah.
$250 for cable a month. Like that's stupid. So, okay, I just want to show you that. But there's 20,000 rentals there, right? So if you go over here and I go to Gatlinburg, this is what I tell my clients to do. Go to a bigger market, search, go to play. You could go to, oh, sorry, there's play right here. Amazing Pools is a good one if you're trying to figure out a design for your pools.
Yeah.
Of course, foosball games, pool table, a couple of few games here. I have found some wickedly cool game rooms in here with the neon lights, the setup. It shows all the pictures and stuff. Just rad places. And it'll give you ideas. I mean, this place has two pool tables. Like, I guess that sleeps a ton of people, but it's 2 pool tables, which is crazy.
$210 a night.
Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. So, but anyways, you understand what I'm saying. So you come in here. They should have a freaking section that says coffee. That's what they should have. Trending, so you can go trending in the area. You can get all these ideas. So like this is the biggest tool that I use, period. Like you should not launch an STR without going to this section. Play, trending, views, amazing pools. Like you can literally just play through this and see like around you, Sean, you have ski in, ski out. Like, and just keep playing with it. A-frames, golfing, like all of these, just grand pianos. Come on. So if you don't know about the sections in Airbnb, like you're really losing out. Okay.
Yeah.
So Andrew's on here and he said, I own in Gatlinburg so many boring cabins. So exactly what I'm saying. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you want to be top of the market, so if you're in Gatlinburg and you're running out of ideas, go to Scottsdale. Scottsdale, Arizona, totally different market. If you go to Scottsdale, let's do it. Scottsdale, Arizona, super high-end places. I've got some friends that run in Scottsdale. Totally different market. Bring some of this feng shui over to Gatlinburg. So let's see. I've never actually done this in Scottsdale. Play. Because what happens is everybody in Gatlinburg starts being like everybody else in Gatlinburg. So we've got to venture out. Scottsdale. You could go to Cape Cod. That would be a massive one. See, it's different style pools. Let's see. Of course, everything's going to be outside because it's never, a problem there.
It's freaking perfect weather all the time.
Yeah.
Well, except for the summer when it's 110.
Yeah. So, or you could go to Miami or Panama City Beach or Naples. I wouldn't go to Panama City Beach. I go to Naples, Florida. We did some units down there. We had a consulting thing down there. Naples is great. Some great ideas down there. But just go through here. Like, look at the way the chairs are. You got the basketball. You've got, I think that's pinball. Yeah, that's pinball here. Designs on the walls, like lighting, all this stuff. Like, you're not going to find this stuff in Blue Ridge, which I'm not saying take the full design because this is more of a Scottsdale design. It's not a cabin design. But take some of these ideas and take them straight over to Blue Ridge and Gatlinburg and reproduce them. That's it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like if you go to Naples on here, that's a big family, or Florida Keys. Let's go to Florida Keys.
Nice.
I mean, really? What is this? Okay, Florida Keys. And we're going to go to Florida Keys, and we're going to go, man, that's crazy. Let's go play.
Pickleball.
Let's just see. Yep, pickleball, tennis, basketball. Look at the pool setup. Let's see here.
That's a small.
Of course, you're going to find a lot of stuff outside. See, look in here. Like, if you don't have a pickleball court or a pool, I mean, a lot of these are in an HOA, right? So they're going to be showing a lot of this stuff first.
That's
just
true.
because it's AI. Like, you have to remember, it's AI. Playgrounds, pool tables, and maybe Florida Keys wasn't the best one. But let's see here. Trending. There's a wow factor too on here. So we can go back home and look
Those
at the wow.
chairs are big, aren't
The wow
they?
factor is like amazing.
Those
Yeah,
egg
swinging chairs, the egg chairs, yes, 100%.
Allie
Yep.
told me, she's like, get rid of this and put an egg chair. I'm like, yep, I got you.
Yep.
I'm not doing
Let me delete this.
-2 here.
So if you go to the front page, like you do away with your location, you go to the front page, you go OMG, not wow, I'm sorry, it's OMG. This will give you some crazy ideas. So if you're looking for design, if you're looking for, I mean, this is crazy. Some of this it's just insane. That's a house and it looks like a pirate ship. So if you go through here and you say like, okay, that's cool. Waterfalls, decor, decoration. That's
I'm staying in the shoe, man. I need to be in the shoe.
There you go. So like,
Get me in the shoe.
if you go here and you go play, this is worldwide. Now this is like all over everywhere.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It is.
That is sick. Now this is a lot more common down near Disney, and this is where this is at, Davenport. But imagine pulling something like this into Gatlinburg or Blue Ridge. Like, you don't see this in Gatlinburg or Blue Ridge. Right. The slides, the big slides and the beds are big. This is cool. I mean, these are all in Florida, right? These are all near Kissimmee, Davenport, Orlando, Champions Gate. There's another one. So don't list an Airbnb or short-term or whatever you want to call it. Do not list one and design one without coming here and getting some freaking inspiration. Like, don't come here, like, don't launch without doing some inspiration. Period. End of story, end of conversation, period. Like the neon lights, I mean, you can tell this is like a garage. Yeah, there's your garage door finished. Yep. And I don't even know what some of these games are. What is that? There you go. There's an idea. I have no idea what that. It looks like basketball with like a moving hoop.
The first one was basketball. Maybe that one. Yeah, one of them is for sure. That place is pretty sick, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Like a VR pod or something like that right there. Like that. Now, I'm not saying the design is great, but like having these types of, there's 2 racing games. The buck shooting game is a big one. So if you're going to go through, like, pick some stuff nobody has and get some inspiration. So that's the big thing. That's the biggest thing I want to say is, like, when you're trying to wow somebody, go get some inspiration. Like, go get, there's got to be another one on here with coffee. There's got to be. There's Lux. I know people who never knew these categories were here, and that's why I wanted to show this. We can spend 30 minutes going through this. Lux, here you go. This is just big stuff, nice stuff. But if you picked one of these, I wonder what the coffee bar looks like. There's your pool right there in Gatlinburg. This is probably Andrew's house right here. But go through, look at some of these like $4 or $5 million homes and look at what they have. Look at what they offer. Especially if it's a competitor. Like, you want to see at least what they're doing. Santa Rosa Beach. My mom lives not too far from here. So let's see what their coffee. I'm just curious what their coffee bar looks like. They got a golf cart, got you some bikes, a sick pool. Let's see. Coffee bar. I want to look at this coffee bar and then we'll be done. I don't even see a picture of the coffee bar.
Yeah, I mean,
see, now I'm concerned.
Now I'm concerned. Never mind. We ain't staying there.
Nope, not staying in this place. I wouldn't stay here for free. There's no coffee bar. Nope. No coffee bar.
Unacceptable.
See, Unacceptable. I bet they're not even booked. I wouldn't even book this place for free. Just kidding. They're booked pretty good. All right, but anyways, going back here, use the categories, use the play, get some inspiration. We don't want to just like meet expectations. We want to wow people on guest experience. So do not list an Airbnb without getting inspiration in doing this. Okay. The last thing is the check-in process, and we'll make it quick because we're 7 minutes over. Check-in process. We talked about wine, right? No guest baskets or check-in baskets, whatever. That's like a thing in the past. Like start doing wine, start doing like, if you want to do a gift, you could do something like, we stayed at a place a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, down in Florida on a river, and mosquitoes were horrible. It was down in south. Oh, yeah, it was like North Florida. I think it was. No, not North Florida. I can't remember. Ocas, about 45 minutes from Gainesville. My sister was graduating. So we stayed at this place, and we come in, and there's this huge basket of stuff, and it's like, this is for you. And it was stuff that we would need. There's like bug spray, especially if you've never been there. You didn't know. There was bug spray. There was these bracelets for like mosquito off or whatever. There was like a cream you could put on your face. All this stuff around like enjoying your time outside. So that was it. That was literally all it was focused on. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, you don't want to just leave like a whole cabinet full of stuff. You just put it out for people who are like, you know, constantly swatting at their face for mosquitoes. Like, mosquitoes don't bother me that bad, but some people with the blood type that they love, what is it, O or something? Like, mosquitoes do not, they just love it. They can't stay off of you. Yeah. So those things are a little bit better for them. There was a couple of candles that you could light, you know, to keep the bugs away and stuff. But it was just really cool. So that would be nice if you're going to do a gift basket, do something like that. Don't do candy. And like, you could do s'mores, but like, come on. Now when you get the messages and somebody's like, you know, you're checking in and you get a message about, you know, enjoy your stay. Don't just leave it there. Like, make sure you add your guidebook in that first message. So if you don't have a guidebook, like if you don't have an electronic guidebook, make sure you get one. TouchStay is like $4 a month. Like, go to touchstay.com. I think that's the website, but look up TouchStay, sign up for their guest view, or, you know, their guest book, their virtual book, and put everything in there, all your recommendations, all the places to eat, all the places to go and shop. Like, give them a full overview. Hey, look, you're 4-minute walking distance from here. You're 10-minute walking distance from here. Give them the full idea of the area. So before they even get in the car and head to you, they know they can help plan out their trip. And in that message, you can also do like a walkthrough video of the whole house. Do like an intro. Hey, glad you picked us. I'm lucky that we're having you. I just want to give you some ideas around the house. Hey, when you check in, here's the kitchen. We have everything you need. Everything's stocked. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like a welcome video. You could do that. That's adding a touch of hospitality inside those messages.
I love that.
And it's like, I know somebody that pushed, I'm not going to say any names and I will never kick rocks, but I know somebody that's like a big guy. He had a handful of listings and he was like, I only operate like 3.5 million plus homes. And I send a video welcome message to each person, each guest. No, he doesn't do that anymore. He used to do it, and he pushed a lot of people to do it. He doesn't do that anymore. If you wanted to do an intro, that's awesome, and send them a video, that's cool. You don't have to send, like, if you want to do that, that's fine. But like, you don't have to. You could do a pre-recorded video, how to get in the gate, how to open the door. Like, you could do all these videos too.
You have to be personal.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just go.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say like that doesn't add a level of like warmth.
Of course.
But at some point, maybe at scale or time of the day, like, you have to go to the house. You have to video that. Like, it just, in my opinion, it's not worth it. So you don't have to do that. If you want to do that, that's fine. You don't have to do that. That guy doesn't do it anymore. That used to say that. So have your welcome video, have a walkthrough video. We stayed at a friend's place actually in Kissimmee, I think it was I think it was Kissimmee. And he had these like they're SOP videos, right? They're like welcome videos, how to get in place. But he actually shot a video, like it was like in the first message. This is how you get in the gate. You had to walk all the way around the gate and like over to the side and like type in the code. And I was like, dude, if I did not watch that video, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, why didn't you tell me that? Now that was like kind of just in his welcome email, of course, welcome message. Of course, that's what we watched. Of course, if it's something like that, put that in there. But you don't have to say like, hey, Jimmy, thanks for booking this place. And like, here's how you walk in the front door. And here's how you do. Like, you don't have to do that. So just add a little bit more context in the welcome emails. And then let's see here. Andrew said, I do whine. Seriously helps with the annoying small issues that pop up. 100%. Like 100%. Brandon, I've heard of asking the guests to see what helps them to town, what brings them to town, and doing this. Some gifts that are personalized to them and their trip. You can definitely do that. At scale, I don't know. So that's a great idea. We really put the efforts in if they say like, it's our birthday, we're coming for a wedding anniversary. Some of those kind of big highlights, we'll do something like that. And we'll get the cleaner to go get a bottle of wine or some roses or something like that. And it's just from us to them. Like, hey, we just want it to be special for you guys. So Brandon, it's absolutely true. Absolutely great idea. For the small stuff, like we're here for a softball tournament or something like that, or it's just a weekend getaway. Like we don't really do anything around those. But especially if it's a bigger house and they're coming for something super special, we will try to work with like whoever booked it. If it's a surprise or if it's just cool, like it's our 20th wedding anniversary, our 50th wedding anniversary. It's our 50th birthday, something like that. Then we'll try to get something a little bit more personalized to them. So great point, Brandon. And the last thing I would say is after all of this, just be hospitable. Like not everybody has the money to go full out and do a sauna and do pickleball courts and do all this stuff. They want to buy a lifestyle investment. They want to clean it up, redesign the interior, put it on put on Airbnb and Vrbo and rent it. And they want it to pay for itself. So our job is we could tell them what works and what doesn't. Our job is to do everything on the back end to make it feel like a full experience. So you can only work with what you got, right? And if you have an owner that doesn't have the cash to put in and spend $100,000 more on an STR, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's not going to be successful. You just make it to a point and you help the owner say, this is the top 2, 3, 4 things that we absolutely have to do. If you have to finance it, finance it. If you don't. But let's do this up front so we can actually get the bookings in. So you can pay it back or you can do this because you can finance like a hot tub. You can finance a sauna. You can put it on a credit card. We don't all want to do that, but you can. So, but on the back end with the check-in information, as a management company, what are we offering for weddings and anniversaries? Just like what Brandon said, bottles of wine, trips to the restaurants, trying to counteract that, then that's what it's about. So, Sean, you got anything to add?
No, man, I think this was really helpful. Like you said, be hospitable. That's one of the things that, we've had people, complaining or, this couldn't find this or whatever. Just be ready to answer those questions. And literally, we've had 3 or 5 different things come up in, 4 days, and they still gave a 5-star review because of how we handled it, and that's such a big thing to do. Just be hospitable, be that person that is definitely welcoming them and there to take care of anything that you possibly can. And ultimately, they're going to have a great stay and happy to be there.
Yep. So I'll leave you with this. We have one of our very first cabins is up. It's in Blue Ridge, and the first year, 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a view. First year did $92,000 as a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's like a $500,000 investment, or 460 or something like that, which was great. Second year did like 75. Third year, we're doing low 70s. So we're starting to trend down, right? It's not a game room, doesn't have anything like that. Just like the amenities wise, it just has a hot tub and a little place to sit outside, and it's a nice cabin. But as the saturation is picked up, it's time to kind of, do this. So they sent us a message at the end of last year, and they said, hey, we want to kind of look at possibly doing like maybe a midterm rental. We want to try to like start covering the expenses a little better. I said, hey, look, I don't blame you, but we need a refresh. We don't stand out anymore. It's got a good view, but so do the other 50 cabins right next door. We need to do a refresh. And she was like, oh, and again, this is our job, right? This is our job to guide our owners and our clients down the right path. And so we said, look, we need to do some kind of refresh. Like, would you be up for that? And she was like, well, what do you mean? Like, what does that entail? And so we said, we really think you could go for a sauna. Like, you don't have the plate, you don't have the room for really anything else. There's not like a game room place. But I think if we repainted some stuff, we upgraded some things like the coffee and some other stuff, and we put a sauna out here, I think we could push back up into the 80s and just do a full refresh. Maybe do, better presentation, some better lighting, some other stuff. And she was like, how much? And so we just gave her a budget, like $5,000 to $6,000. And she was like, her and her husband talked it over, and they came back and said, do it. We're with you. We would love a sauna. We've talked about that, getting one at home. And I was like, and it's a lifestyle investment for them too. Like, they come up and they spend a couple weeks during the summer and during the winter, and they go home. So that's another thing. Like, we can guide you through it. You don't have to sell it, because if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. So you don't have to sell it. Like, let's put $5,000 or $6,000 into this thing, and let's get the return of $10,000 extra every year. And they were like, done, do it. So then we had some like really hard freeze and some other stuff, and had a couple of really long bookings. So we couldn't get up there. But here in the next couple of weeks, we are going up there. I think Brittany and Allie are going to go up there and just go through a walkthrough, figure out everything that can be upgraded, try to come up with a budget, and take it out. So you don't always have to sell when it starts going down, because every handful of years you have to do that. There's no question. So with that, I leave you. Expectations versus amenities and reality and wow factor. So hopefully this helps a lot of people. Hopefully somebody might be struggling in a certain point, or they're about to launch their first STR or third, and they got some good info out of this. You got anything to add?
Absolutely, brother. It's all about serving, right? I mean, in the end, that's literally what we're doing, is serving here and serving our guests and our owners to make it the best experience we can. So keep rolling, man. I love it. Glad we were able to do this. Hopefully it did, help a few people out, man. That's all that matters.
Okay. All right. With that, we'll leave you, and we will see you guys next week, and I'll talk to you later.
Look forward to it. Later, guys.